You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Here we are at the top of the hour. I'm Dan Schmidt alongside Dave Schwartz this hour, and back in Master Control, Clay Henson. We're looking forward to some nasty weather throughout the Midwest once again through the daytime, and it looks as though we did have some nasty stuff here during the daytime on Tuesday. Tornadoes numerous across much of the upper Midwest, even dropping as far south as sections of northeastern Oklahoma. These blue dots representing some hail damage and wind damage. They even reported softball-sized hail, believe it or not, in Orchard, Iowa, before the day was through. This is all in and around and associated with a low pressure system which is back off in through North Dakota. The frontal system trailing on down to the south. This is mostly warm, moist air riding on up to the north. We did see some tornadoes in Wisconsin during the daytime, and that produced quite a bit of damage around Ripon, Wisconsin. We saw some uprooted trees, and also we saw some damages to homes and cars, automobiles and the like. And fortunately enough, no injuries were reported out of this tornado touchdown. Let's hope things are much improved through the daytime as we work our way through a Wednesday. Let's take a look now and head back to the maps we go, and it looks as though things are going to shape up to be a damp evening across that frontal system. You even have some flood watches out in effect for sections of Texas and just about all of northern Illinois, including the Chicagoland area, and that rain wraps up and around the backside of that low pressure system before finally tapering on off as you head on out towards the west. Embedded in this area of rain, we've got some nasty thunderstorms through the evening time. Some could approach severe levels in northeastern Texas and down to southwestern sections of Arkansas, then back up along the warm front too through Pennsylvania and northern sections of Ohio. Otherwise, just some strong thunderstorms expected through the evening time. What's going to happen in the future? Well, let's take you back to the past first of all and on into Tuesday. Here's the situation that we had shaping up with that area of low pressure well on up to the north. Nice strong northern branch of the jet. A lot of moisture pumping on up from the south, and that's where all the severe weather took place right in through this area. By Wednesday, well, the midweek shows some heavy rains once again down across the lower sections of that frontal system where the moisture is still bumping into the colder, drier air as the frontal system pushes its way on towards the east. And guess what? This front on the south side not going to move all that much, so high flooding potential right on through to your Thursday. Let's take you into some detail what's going to happen midweek on Wednesday. Not too bad of a forecast right on through to south here. Still very warm. You might see some afternoon thunder showers pop on up, but it looks as though well on up to the north we've got some thunder showers. Once again, some possibility of some severe weather along that frontal system, especially right around this triple point where the warm and cold air and the occluded front meet, all just to the north of the Great Lakes. So there is a possibility we'll see some tornadic activity right along this area of the country through your midday and late afternoon hours. To the west, still some wet weather. Our next storm system beginning to approach in upon the west Pacific Northwest. Well, where's that going to head to for the coming 3 days? Well, we're going to detail, first of all, the rainfall potential for it. Heavy rains on down to the south, also well on up to the north, and Pacific Northwest getting into the heavy rains. Tonight's lows well on the mild, muggy side throughout the east and cooler, drier air to the west, and still rather toasty through the daytime on Wednesday with highs in the 90s, even triple digits across portions of the southeast. Your jet stream on Thursday weaving its way on up to the north. It's going to drop slowly on down to the south as we look on into Sunday eventually, but it looks as though things are going to shape up to be a bit on the warm side, so do take cover indoors, and air conditioning especially is necessary during these very hot days. Thursday, Friday, even right on into the weekend, the 90s are going to stay in place across the south. Sunday, the warming trend begins for the upper Midwest. And what's that storm system going to do? Well, it's going to be a very slow mover, eventually pushing on down to the south with scattered showers and thunderstorms, drying out finally for the Midwest, well on up to the north, but next batch of rain from that Pacific system moves on through the area for your Saturday and on into Sunday too. It looks like a wet day for much of the upper Midwest. I know you'd like to see some drier weather up here. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this weekend anyway. And on down to the south, just a few widely scattered, pretty typical for this summertime isolated thunderstorms.
El Nino, not the harmless baby its name suggests, but a monster weather engine so powerful it can affect 2/3 of the surface of the Earth. Now, a new title from the Weather Channel for your video library, El Nino, Drought to Deluge. How is this mysterious weather phenomenon responsible for drought that turned a coastline into a tinderbox, for rainfall so intense that winter becomes the season of flood? Plus, from storm chaser Warren Fadley, severe storms through the camera's eye, from hellacious hailstorms through dust, lightning, and tornadoes. Plus, new storm chaser highlights and the rules for survival. And this handy guide to weather from behind the wheel. What do you do when you're caught in the car facing a tornado, flood, or other hazardous situation? Call toll-free 1-800-525-7700 now, and you can own El Nino, severe storms, and your driving weather safety guide for just $19.95. Call 1-800-525-7700 now and charge by phone, or send check or money order to the address on the screen. Call now.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. Be prepared when severe weather threatens. Tune to the Weather Channel for the most accurate up-to-the-minute severe weather information and forecasts. The Weather Channel, weather you can always turn to.
Now, through Children International, you can sponsor a child with no money down. And you can see for yourself the actual child you would be helping. And get to know that child before you decide to become a sponsor. Call now, and we'll rush you free with no obligation the photo and case history of one precious child who needs you. Hold her picture. Then if you decide to sponsor this child, simply mail your first monthly gift of only $10 and she will be assigned to you. Your contributions will be combined with those of several other sponsors who will help provide for your individual child. Call now to receive the photo and personal history of an actual child who needs a sponsor, all on a no-money-down basis and with no obligation on your part. Call 1-800-257-0500. That's 1-800-257-0500.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. forecast for cities nationwide. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
You're watching a few scenes from one of America's best-selling home videos, touring America's national parks. This video brings the beauty and majesty of our country's priceless natural treasures right into your home. You'll see and hear the stories behind 20 of America's most popular parks, from the world's tallest trees to the awesome depth and breadth of the Grand Canyon to the world's largest arch. This 4-star video captures the sights and sounds of the American wilderness and the wildlife that still roam through our park areas. Whether you've been to a national park or plan on going, touring America's national parks belongs in your video collection. You'll play this hour-long video again and again as you take in the breathtaking splendor of the world's most beautiful park system.
To order your Touring America's National Parks video for only $19.95 plus shipping, call this toll-free 800 number now. Use your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or send your check. Satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back.
Dave's coming up next with a very interesting look at a satellite picture out of the Midwest. Big storms through there, but first a look at your business, Travel Cities.
Make sure you've got smooth sailing ahead. Select from over 150 boating forecasts. 95 cents a minute. Call 1-900-WEATHER.
Warning, for the next 30 seconds, you will be subjected to the highest level of pure carbine persuasion. Do something good for yourself. McGuire owned and operated JR Roof. Big-time inventory with small-town values. Route 206 in Newton.
It's a gift giver's paradise and a collector's dream at Country Gifts and Toys. We have one of the largest selections of collectibles in the area. You'll find David Winter cottages, Tom Clark's gnomes, Precious Moments, Gregory Perillo, Sports Impressions, Christonian, Department 56, Cat's Meow, Dreamsicles, Cherished Teddies, and much more, all in a pleasant atmosphere. Country Gifts and Toys, 2 Main Street, Branchville.
It's the 5-day business planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-day business planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Your region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
It's 16 minutes past the hour. I'm Dave Schwartz. Severe weather continues to rack the upper Midwest. In Morris, Illinois, 17 homes were damaged by some strong winds gusting over 50 miles per hour. And to the west in South Dakota, the clouds looked like this. Monday and Tuesday, severe weather just blew all across the state. 13 tornadoes. At least 4 people were seriously injured north of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, when a tornado destroyed their homes. Damage was extensive across the state. And look at that, some denuded trees. That was a powerful tornado to rip the leaves off of some of the trees here in the upper Midwest. The reason? This storm spinning across northern Minnesota at the present time. A lot of upper level wind energy, a lot of moisture provided by the jet stream and the lower level winds blowing off the east and southeast right into the storm system, and it's been one round of severe weather after another. The possibility of more severe weather exists tonight with large hail, gusty winds, and some deadly lightning, and even an isolated tornado or two from the Detroit area back down through the mid-Atlantic states and here in northeast Texas, where severe weather has just run rampant. Heavy rain has produced some flooding, and it looks like during the day on Wednesday this front is just going to hang around. Notice it's not moving very much, so where the rains are, the rains will come right onto flooded areas already. Flood watches are in effect for northern Illinois, and some of the rain will be heavy on in here back down into the northeast. That's a look at Wednesday. We'll get the 5-day forecast through the weekend next.
Do you suffer from morning stiffness or aches, snoring, restless sleep? You deserve a better night's sleep. Try the Contour Pillow from Comfort Track. It's anatomically designed to match the natural shape of your neck and head as it aligns and supports. Ordinary and down pillows lose their shape and don't support your neck. Don't do this to your neck. The Contour Pillow comfortably supports your neck so your muscles can relax, reducing strain and allowing you to breathe more freely.
My husband isn't snoring any longer.
I did notice when I woke up after using the Contour Pillow a lack of stiffness in my upper shoulder and neck area.
The Contour Pillow is not available in stores. Doctors and chiropractors sell similar products for $50 and even $60. Get your Contour Pillow for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Don't wait until you have discomfort. Order now. Call now to order, and we'll give you the zippered washable cover, a $5 value, free.
Have your credit card ready. Call now. 1-800-772-6600. That's 1-800-772-6600. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
Well, it's time to take a look at the business travelers, cities, and around the country. We're looking forward to some improvement in our weather picture throughout the Midwest. Our first look takes us into the satellite picture, showing where that area of low pressure is still spinning around the Dakotas for the past couple of days, and it's finally going to kick on off towards the northeast. Big storms, however, along the frontal system, stretching as far south of Texas to the north. Around the Great Lakes, we saw some pretty nasty stuff over the last couple of days, and it looks like things will gradually improve. Looking at the Wednesday morning picture, we've got showers and thunderstorms right along that frontal system with that area of low pressure spinning up around northern Minnesota and finally beginning to move on out towards the midday hour. Still some pretty decent rains associated with it, and we will be looking at a flooding problem once again through Indiana, southern Illinois, and back off in through portions of Arkansas with a widely scattered shower or thunder shower. Down to the south, still very hot. Out to the west, high pressure building in there will result in a fairly nice day, though our next storm system beginning to move onshore. You can see the rains already pushing on through Portland, Seattle, and some shower activity even in through northern California before the day is done. Down to the south, heat low begins to set up once again, so the temperature is slowly coming back up closer to where you should be this time of year across the desert southwest. Tonight, however, nice mild muggy evening in the southeast with temperatures in the 70s, also the desert southwest in the 70s as well. Out ahead of that frontal system, however, those temperatures will be sizzling during the daytime once again on Wednesday with temperatures 90s, even triple digits, southeast and southwest. Back behind the frontal system, a little bit on the cooler side with temperatures in the 70s and 60s, kind of pushing on the way down to the south. Well, that's not going to last too long because look at the heat beginning to build back up here for Thursday. And our next storm system begins to push on through the Rockies, will result in some cooler temperatures there. Most of the 60s begin to expand and push a little bit further to the south. Meantime, on down to the southeast, that frontal system finally pushing its way towards the coastline, and that will result in some cooler temperatures for Atlanta, where they got up to 95 degrees today, pushing them down into the 80s by the weekend. Here comes the 90s making a return flow back towards the midsection of the country. You can see those temperatures will be rather nice over the coming few days, summer-like as a matter of fact. Showers and thunder showers, a little wet as our first storm system begins to push on down to the southeast. Storm system number 2, northwest, moving right down through the plains. By the time your weekend arrives, more wet weather through the Midwest, just have a few days of drying, and then here comes the showers and thunderstorms making a return once again into your forecast. Not a great weekend for golf up across this area, but better days are ahead for the Northeast. Drier days ahead.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Forecast for cities nationwide. Regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
While severe weather continues to rule the roost in the Midwest, here in the west, things are pretty quiet. High pressure over Idaho. This is a heat low near Yuma, Arizona, otherwise known as the Yuma Low. Here's another area of low pressure here. That's a frontal boundary that will slam on in during the day, and clouds will be thickening up in Seattle toward morning. The chance of showers increases as we work our way through the day. But you'll notice that this storm here is not down here in Southern California like we had this past weekend with the cool and wet weather. We're going to stay dry and warm, at least in the short term. We've got light winds in here tonight, temperatures falling through the 60s. A few spots could drop just a little bit cooler than that, especially up at Big Bear, up the mountains, 36. But with dry air across the Southland, everybody warms up nicely. to the Century Mark in Palm Springs. 70s and low 80s right along the coast. Slightly cooler right along the coast, LA and San Diego included, of course, as we head toward Thursday. 54 in San Francisco in the morning, double nickels here at Sacramento, generally in the 50s all across the area until you head up into the mountains. A mostly sunny day on tap, and look at that warming trend. It continues with a vengeance. Not so here in the Pacific Northwest. We'll have clouds, we'll have showers. 65 degrees in Seattle, a few degrees below normal. 82 in Medford with a scattered shower. Further east you go, the drier it will be, and the fewer showers there will be as well. That's a look at the Pacific regional forecast. Of course, if you don't happen to live on the Pacific Rim, we've got your forecast next.
International travel can be full of surprises.
Our country has a new name. You need a new visa.
Some of them can be pretty inconvenient.
260,000 lira per night was yesterday's exchange rate.
And some can be downright unpleasant.
Oui, monsieur. That is indeed what you ordained.
But some surprises are easier than others to avoid.
Look for heavy rains across Gibraltar all
Watch
day.
international weather. Accurate weather forecast for Europe at 41 after the hour every day on the Weather Channel. Avoid unpleasant surprises when you travel. Watch international weather. Accurate weather forecast for Europe at 41 after the hour every day on the Weather Channel.
Well, this time I'm going to take a look at the satellite picture, and here's the big, interesting portion of our weather we've been speaking of the last couple of days. This big area of low pressure system spinning on around in through the Dakotas right now. It's slowly making its way on off towards the east, and that will mean an improvement in the weather throughout much of the Midwest, finally. But in the meantime, we still have big thunderstorms to worry about, ruling the evening time air throughout Illinois, back down in through Missouri, and even back off in through Michigan, getting hit with a little bit of severe weather through the evening time as well. It looks like things are going to slowly improve. On down to the south, we got some very warm air. The nation's picture will depict that with lots of sunshine from Florida through the Carolinas on up towards Virginia. It's been very warm across this area. Numerous record highs broken through the area today. And also South Texas, some cooler, drier air. They're on the back side of this frontal system, which means things are shaping up pretty darn nice. To the west, not a bad day there. Some rain heading your way, though. We'll detail that coming up in the 5-day business planner, so stay tuned.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Current regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. The extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. The regional forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Half past the top of the hour, and it's time to get back to the maps. And we're going to take a look at the temperatures first off. Very warm day across much of the southeast. Look at these temperatures well on up into the mid to upper 90s throughout much of the area. Even got to 103 degrees for a record-breaking temperature around Augusta, Georgia today. On up to the north, cools off thanks to a frontal system which divided the nation in two. Temperatures on the backside of the front rather comfortable and dry too. That air drying out thanks to a nice flow down from the north, but it also resulted in some pretty nasty weather throughout much of the Midwest during the daytime. The temperatures well above normal as you head on down to the southeast, as much as 10 degrees above normal, but back behind that frontal system we saw the temperatures cooling on down to 15 degrees below normal. For much of the Rockies, they did see some snow the last couple of days up across the Wasatch, the Bighorn Range, and looks like that pattern will slowly lift on out as the storm system moves out of the picture. In the meantime, this heat did cause for a few records across the southeast, including, as I mentioned, Augusta, Georgia at 103 degrees, Jackson, Kentucky 89, and almost getting to 100 was Jacksonville, Florida. Yesterday they did get up to the triple digits. Now we do have some changes ahead thanks to that frontal system moving on through the Midwest. It is producing quite a bit of rainfall throughout the evening time tonight on into early Wednesday morning. Flash flooding is possible throughout northern Illinois and on up into southeastern and southwestern Wisconsin. The rivers are running black due to all the erosion of the soil down into the stream beds, and it looks like the Mississippi River Valley will be getting that old muddy Mississippi River water before too long as the outflow from all these storms continues to move on down to the Gulf Coast. In the meantime, some of this rain could be severe thunderstorms through the evening time. We saw some pretty big thunderstorms in along the Red River Valley and then on up to the north and through Pennsylvania, around Cleveland, Ohio, looking at some nasty weather through the early morning hours. Now, this storm system has had a bad history of producing some nasty weather. Here's the way things looked on Sunday with showers and thunderstorms rolling through the plains, producing wind damage and tornadoes. Now that only gets worse as we work our way through Monday. Showers and storms and producing numerous tornadoes throughout much of Minnesota, back into Dakotas, and then up around the Chicagoland area Monday as well as on into Tuesday. Tornadoes, thunderstorms, and once again damaging the power lines, the trees, and large hail throughout the area as well. Now, Chicago was cleaning up during the daytime today from the thunderstorms of the past. And you're looking at some downed trees, flooded basements, and a lot of cars getting hit with some really heavy rain and flooded viaducts. So the damage cleanup continues across the area, and Mayor Richard Daley declared an emergency this morning in order to help with the assistance of some of the nasty storm damage across the area. Meantime, Wednesday morning is shaping up to be not too bad. We're looking forward to some wet weather once again throughout much of the Midwest, but notice some drier air just on the doorstep. Thunderstorms as the frontal system rolls through Chicagoland in the early morning time. You might see a messy rush hour there, but in the meantime, down across the southeast, still looking at lots of heat, lots of humidity. Now watch during the daytime on Wednesday. This frontal system, the tail end of it, not moving all that much, despite the low pressure system beginning to finally move and push on off towards the northeast. The tail end still hovering over Missouri and Oklahoma, with showers and thunderstorms to continue through the daytime. And it looks like the Ohio River Valley will be getting hit hard with more heavy wet weather before the day is done. Our next storm system beginning to push on into the northwest. We're going to detail that on the 5-day outlook in just a second. But first, how much rain is going to fall out of these storms? Well, we've got plenty of inch-plus amounts through sections of Missouri and on into central Illinois, and perhaps a few thunder showers along the coastline of Georgia and down into Florida. For the most part, we're looking at lots of heat and humidity down here. They need some cool air, and it's going to come in the next 5 days. Overnight lows on Thursday, looking at very mild, muggy 70s and 60s out ahead of the frontal system. Back behind it, temperatures will fall off in the 30s and 40s. 90s and a few triple digits. We'll be with you through your midday on Wednesday, and the weekend outlook shaping up to be nice and toasty throughout the Southland with temperatures in the 90s. But say goodbye to the 100s. Finally looking at those making an exit. 100s staying in place across the desert Southwest right on through your weekend, though. And the next push of cold air beginning to dump on down from the north. The nice warming trend for the Midwest continues. Summertime has finally arrived, I do believe. Wet weather will be with you along that frontal system, Ohio River Valley, stretching on down to the south, right on through the weekend. Here comes our next storm system from the northwest. Could provide more flooding conditions for the upper Midwest.
Do you suffer from morning stiffness or aches, snoring, restless sleep? You deserve a better night's sleep. Try the Contour Pillow from Comfort Track. It's anatomically designed to match the natural shape of your neck and head as it aligns and supports. Ordinary and down pillows lose their shape and don't support your neck. Don't do this to your neck. The Contour Pillow comfortably supports your neck so your muscles can relax, reducing strain and allowing you to breathe more freely.
My husband isn't snoring any longer.
I did notice when I woke up after using the Contour Pillow a lack of stiffness in my upper shoulder and neck area.
The Contour Pillow is not available in stores. Doctors and chiropractors sell similar products for $50 and even $60. Get your Contour Pillow for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Don't wait until you have discomfort. Order now. Call now to order and we'll give you the zippered washable cover, a $5 value, free.
Have your credit card ready. Call now. 1-800-772-6600. That's 1-800-772-6600. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. Be prepared when severe weather threatens. Tune to the Weather Channel for the most accurate, up-to-the-minute severe weather information and forecasts. The Weather Channel, weather you can always turn to.
Homeowners, stop struggling with yard waste cleanup chores this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call toll-free to find out how the amazing Troy-built chipper vac can turn hard-to-handle brush, branches, even matted leaves, pine needles, and twigs into easy-to-handle wood chips and mulch as you walk. The secret is a self-propelled vacuuming shredder and an optional hose vacuum combined with a powerful auto-feed chipper that handles big branches right on the spot. Plus, yard wastes are reduced and bagged automatically, turning hard-to-handle yard waste into compacted wood chips and mulch for easy disposal, or use as free landscape mulch. So don't struggle with yard waste cleanup this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call today for your free catalog on the revolutionary Troy-built chipper vac. For complete details on the revolutionary Troy-built chipper vac, including your free full-color catalog, call toll-free 1-800-342-1818. That's 1-800-342-1818. Call today.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. forecast for cities nationwide. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Homeowners, stop struggling with yard waste cleanup chores this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call toll-free to find out how the amazing Troy-built chippervac can turn hard-to-handle brush, branches, even matted leaves, pine needles, and twigs into easy-to-handle wood chips and mulch as you walk. The secret is a self-propelled vacuuming shredder and an optional hose vacuum combined with a powerful auto-feed chipper that handles big branches right on the spot. Plus, yard wastes are reduced and bagged automatically, turning hard-to-handle yard waste into compacted wood chips and mulch for easy disposal or use as free landscape mulch. So don't struggle with yard waste cleanup this spring and endless leaf cleanup next fall. Call today for your free catalog on the revolutionary Troy-built chippervac. For complete details on the revolutionary Troy-built chippervac, including your free full-color catalog, call toll-free 1-800-342-1818. That's 1-800-342-1818. Call today.
Well, Dan, it looks like this cold front here has gone stationary from around Wausau down toward Wichita Falls.
Folks in the southeast don't want to hear that. They want some relief from the heat. We'll detail that.
Now, through Children International, you can sponsor a child with no money down. And you can see for yourself the actual child you would be helping. And get to know that child before you decide to become a sponsor. Call now, and we'll rush you free with no obligation the photo and case history of one precious child who needs you. Hold her picture. Then if you decide to sponsor this child, simply mail your first monthly gift of only $10 and she will be assigned to you. Your contributions will be combined with those of several other sponsors who will help provide for your individual child. Call now to receive the photo and personal history of an actual child who needs a sponsor, all on a no-money-down basis and with no obligation on your part. Call 1-800-257-0500. That's 1-800-257-0500.
Well, already a week into the tropical season, Dave's coming up next with a tropical update to show you any potential there might be for any development.
Water before you hit the beach. Select from over 150 beach forecasts. 95 cents a minute. Call 1-900-WEATHER.
You know, people who've seen our commercials many times still call and ask if auto financing is as easy as we say.
You'd think that after all these years and the thousands of cars we've discounted and financed, they should know by now.
Country is the place to buy at a big discount.
And Country is the place to apply for financing regardless of your credit history.
Because at Country, we enjoy saying yes.
RA RAM Carpets for all your floor covering needs. Trust our family-owned and operated business, offering affordable prices, quality service, and expert installation. Don't feel pressured. Relax and browse at RAM Carpets, County Route 565, Sussex.
Accurate and dependable forecasts you can always turn to. And when you're away from your television, the Weather Channel forecast is also available from the following.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. Enroll your class in the Weather Classroom. Learn about the weather and watch it as it happens. Just set your VCR to tape Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern. That's 10 the night before Pacific time for the Weather Classroom. Then watch the Weather Classroom whenever you can, at school or at home. Learn about the weather and see it in action. Monday through Friday, watch the Weather Classroom on the Weather Channel.
And watch the Tropical Weather Update. We're in tropical weather season, began June 1st, ends November 30th. And every hour at 12 minutes before the hour, that's the time right now, we will feature the tropics. Right now, thankfully, things are quiet, and we're still reflecting on what Hurricane Andrew did. You might want to set your VCRs for either 7:30, 9, or 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time any day this week. Lessons from Andrew, a series exclusively here at the Weather Channel. Well, Hurricane Andrew developed out over the Atlantic Ocean, but this time of year we don't expect to see any storms develop out here. A little closer to home, this is where the action is, and well, we've already had some. A tropical depression formed over the northwestern Caribbean, moved across just about near Havana, south of Florida, and gave those folks a few headaches just about a week and a half ago. But now we find that things are pretty quiet. Out here over the Atlantic, pretty much the same story too. Here is Africa. Here's another tropical wave moving out off the coast of Africa out here into the intertropical convergence zone, but it's so far south near the equator, we don't expect any of these disturbed areas to really make anything of themselves. Further to the west we go, and we find some clouds here in the Caribbean, but generally in association with a storm in the upper levels of the atmosphere. When you have one of those, that is one of the factors not conducive to tropical storm development. So a lot of clouds, more bark than bite, and here, of course, in the Gulf of Mexico, we're just about as clear as a bell. Further to the west, the National Hurricane Center is watching this disturbed area for the possibility of development. Of course, it's way south of Baja California, and it will track toward the west as all the activity in the intertropical convergence zone does. There it goes, moving east to west. The folks in Hawaii may be interested in that as we head toward the weekend. Hey, we've got an area of spin in the atmosphere, but it's not of tropical origin. It is right here. Watch when these clouds go into motion. This is a mean storm, and it's pretty far south for this time of year. As it moved across the Rockies, it really stirred things up, produced severe weather across the Dakotas, then into Minnesota, and on Tuesday, Wisconsin got racked with several tornadoes. Right around Oshkosh, for example, they had one. Ripon had another one. Activity all the way down into southeast Texas. One storm here, another storm moving in off the Pacific. Both will have an impact on your weather. Stay tuned for that forecast.
Now, through Children International, you can sponsor a child with no money down. And you can see for yourself the actual child you would be helping. And get to know that child before you decide to become a sponsor. Call now, and we'll rush you free with no obligation the photo and case history of one precious child who needs you. Hold her picture. Then if you decide to sponsor this child, simply mail your first monthly gift of only $10 and she will be assigned to you. Your contributions will be combined with those of several other sponsors who will help provide for your individual child. Call now to receive the photo and personal history of an actual child who needs a sponsor. All on a no-money-down basis and with no obligation on your part. Call 1-800-257-0500. That's 1-800-257-0500.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions.